You've made some headlines, particularly as a retailer, when you acquired last year a Wall Street firm. Tell us a little bit about that strategic acquisition and what it was like. You're from Utah, you acquired a traditional New York Wall Street firm. Tell us about it.
Sure. Well, as some people don't know, I grew up around Wall Street. I grew up around the financial industry. I used to work at First Manhattan here in town for Sandy Gottesman and Arthur Zenkel. The old timers may even remember them. And so I just happen to be out in Utah now running this retail company. But is Overstock a retail company? You know, there's an old saying that if the railroad industries had understood they were in the transportation business and not the train business, they'd have become the car companies. Overstock, is it a retail company? Maybe it's a tech company. It's a tech company that has happened so far in its history to have done a bunch of great technology, to sell toasters online and beautiful watches and rings. But you know, being a tech company, we learned an awful lot about the Wall Street settlement system 10, 12 years ago, and we've realized, and we were the first major company to understand and take Bitcoin and understand the blockchain. So we're putting those two facts together, and we've created a new division of our company that is actually pursuing a blockchain-based Wall Street. And that's really just one of the blockchain efforts we're involved in. You may even hear about another similarly scoped, similarly sized one in the near future.
That's great. Well, you definitely are a pioneer in the space, and I do want to ask you about your recent news for your secondary offering, where stock will be available not only through NASDAQ, but also via your blockchain platform, T0.
Yes.
Is that essentially a proof of concept for all of your blockchain efforts?
Yes, we're like Jonas Salk, the guy who invented the polio vaccine. No one knew if it was safe, so he first injected himself. So we're lucky in terms of all the people pursuing blockchain. We have a division that is doing it called T0, owned by Overstock, which is a publicly traded company. So as T0 develops this technology, last summer, Overstock can use it. So last summer, Overstock issued the world's first private blockchain security. I bought the first $500,000 of a bond, but then a great firm in New York called First New York came out and bought a $5 million bond from us, just recorded in the blockchain. And then, so the next step will be issuing a public blockchain security. Now we do have our system, the T0, we bought an ATS and a smart routing system in Wall Street called SpeedRoute. And it had an ATS and a dark pool alternative trading system, and we built our blockchain efforts on top of it, so it would already be integrated into the national market system. Then so the first step was doing a private security, next will be a public security. That system has been looked at by the SEC, and last spring it was deemed approved, and then Overstock itself filed a universal shelf last May or June describing all this, and in December the SEC finally sprinkled some holy water on it, and it went effective. So we are the only company in the world that has an SEC approved, well, we have both a SEC a deemed approved system that can trade blockchain securities, and we have the right to issue a blockchain security. If we are, I can't confirm, nor can either confirm nor deny if we're going to, but I can say that we spent $1 million or $2 million going through a lot of work to get that S3, so I don't think I'm going to waste it.
No, and it's great to see you teaming up with all the regulators. And lastly, I do want to ask you, because as we talked about earlier, Equities is a site where you have aspiring entrepreneurs and CEOs of emerging growth companies. As a recognized global entrepreneur yourself, what words of wisdom can you give them as they look to innovate in today's market conditions?
Agile software development, and have about 2 to 4 times as much capital as you think it's going to need to get your business off the ground. Those are the 2 things.
Very well said. Well, again, thank you so much for being with us, and I'm looking forward to all your exciting developments. It's never a dull moment to be with Patrick Byrne from Overstock.com.
Sylvia, thank you so much for having me.